Hi, my name is Olga Morozana, and today I would like to invite you to discuss together with me the strategies and useful tips how you could develop the student digital citizenship in the English as a foreign language classes. So let's start. From the very beginning, I would like to invite you to participate in a small activity which is called Guess. Guess what? You could see here several numbers. Try to predict to predict what might these numbers refer to. 2017, 15, 90%, 2, 800 and plus, 200, 10%. Ready? Now, let's see if your ideas will change after you see this picture. Yes, you could see that this poster is about the deadly blue whale game that everybody knows in the Republic of Moldova and even globally. That this is a deadly game. So, which in 2000 and I think in the end of 2016 and beginning of 2017 was a boom in the Republic of Moldova that scared and frustrated and I don't know, exposed to lots of risks the children in the Republic of Moldova. What is with this game? This is a 50-day based game. So this is day-based, this is challenge game. So the inception, basically, it was in 2013 in Russia. And the first suicide, the child that suicided himself or herself was in 2015, unfortunately. Where tasks served on social media, players post pictures on private groups. Who was that? I mean, the author was a 22-year-old Russian hacker, let's say, claiming to have invented it. There are also challenges. So it was from it proposes from innocuous horror film viewing to inflicting self-harm. And the name was, this is a standard day, involves etching a whale on the wrist, hence the name. So basically it was the blue whale with the idea that participants will have to carve or will have to cut the shape of the blue whale on their wrist. The culmination was death by suicide. So only at the beginning of 2017 in the Republic of Moldova's General Police of Inspectorate reports, we had 15 cases of children self-mutilation. So they mutilated themselves, and even cases that means that happened, suicide tentatives, and unfortunately 2 youth, a boy and a girl, deadly end, ended. So they jump out of the building in Chisinau. They were identified 200 social media profiles and posts connected to deadly games, and only in March 2017. The Green Line of Suicide Prevention in the Republic of Moldova received over 800 calls and messages from parents, teachers, and children, out of which 90% were requiring and requesting general information on issues related to the deadly game player profile. And in order to find out more about the deadly game and also the way how they could react and whether to identify, the symptoms or the signs, how they could, the parents or the teachers could identify their children participate in this game. 10% even receive psychological assistance. Okay. And yeah, when we come back, I would like to come back to the previous slide. What happened in that period? The entire society, including the governmental, non-governmental, and the community, they were very much scared about this phenomenon because it was a boom, and a lot of children were exposed to these risks. And in particular, after having these cases of suicide, when those 2 kids, they just killed themselves, and just because of their participation in this game. And I know that even one girl, so she was just stopped by the police officer who, in the process, when she wanted to jump out of the bridge. So that was the situation. That is a harmful and risky situation that our children were exposed that time. And the entire society wanted and requested some actions from the schools, who were, of course, responsible to educate the children in order to teach them how they could prevent these challenges and the risks, online risks. However, they were not prepared with any kind of trainings for the teachers. So the teachers were just they were looking for the information, and after that they came and they were trying to discuss together with the students about this topic. They were trying to identify the children if they had some signs, I mean cuts on their wrists in the shape of a whale. So however, there is, by the rule, history shows that games appears, and these deadly games appears and disappears, and after that appears. So the problem was that it was not enough just to talk about this deadly game. Society and the education really needed to have a holistic approach, and in order to teach these children about online safety, about the risk that they exposed online, no matter whether this is a game or this is just a social media, and in particular by developing the digital citizenship, I mean their digital citizenship. The situation even worsened nowadays because of the COVID-19, and you could see here at the global level 1.38 billion children. Those were children from pre-primary, primary, lower secondary, and upper secondary levels. So they were those that were involved in the online education, and in particular, they were those that were exposed with a bigger period of time, and just exposed to the internet. So the only way to present themselves, to communicate, to socialize, and to learn something during the pandemic period was, of course, online. As a result, during the COVID-19 pandemic, so a dramatic effect and a negative effect was on the internet usage, in particular on the risk the children were exposed while using the internet during this period. Only since mid-January 2020, by now, online traffic has increased by over 25%. This is the fastest usage increase since the internet was developed. So you could imagine, in 2 months or 3 months, things so rapidly changed. So people started using internet so vast, and at the end, so it's like, I don't know, a lot of children were just online, living their lives online, learning, communicating, socializing, and of course being exposed to those risks about the connected to online safety. In 30 countries, 60% of children, this is a great number, 60% of children have experienced at least one cyber risk. Cyber risk, this is when the children were not harmed, but they had a negative experience. So those children, 60% of children from 30 countries have experienced at least one cyber risk, such as cyberbullying, gaming disorder. You know, cyberbullying, this is when you receive negative text from your friends, through comments or phone texting. So this is cyberbullying. Gaming disorder, so just spending a lot of times while gaming, even more than 8 hours per day. There might be days and nights without being able to stop, and this is the issue of even game addiction, or some other people might call it game dependence. Online sexual behavior or reputational risk. So in particular, when it comes to exposure to online sexual harassment, fake news, and others. So this diagram really shows and what happened and how the 60% were distributed. So 60% of 8-12-year-old children, this is either boys and girls, so children online are exposed to cyber risks today, out of which 39% experience reputational risks. This is like, I don't know, your picture period and then it was taken from others, and you change it. I mean, just because of your profile or something, you were harassed, and you were bullied, and in order to create a bad reputation online. 29% were exposed to risky content, violent or sexual. This is in case of the movies, or in case of the games with violent context and even sexual, pornography, and so on and so forth. 13% they were at risk for gaming disorder. 28% experienced cyber threats. 8% were at risk for social media disorder. Social media disorder, this is addiction, when you stay online and just scroll Facebook or Instagram and you just look and you spend the whole day scrolling and seeing and posting online and chatting. 45% they affected by cyberbullying. This is when you are harmed and harassed online, but when you receive bad, we discussed already, so you receive bad comments and you are I don't know, you treated with negative words and feedback from your colleagues. 70% experience risky contact, offline meeting with strangers, or sexual contact. So this is an invitation to go offline, to meet online with those strangers and sexual contact people. So even trying to go offline and just chatting with those people from offline, online to offline environment. Okay, so again, this is a big number. These are the big numbers, and that shows that the problem of online safety, of children's online safety, still exists. I really like this picture that shows this graph that shows that in 2020, globally, we have the Child Online Safety Index. So each country has this index in order to match or to reach this a particular index, and to show how are the situation happening around in order to ensure the child online safety. Which countries have the best online safety for children? You could see Spain. During the 2020 period, so they were trying to do their best in order to I don't know, to ensure the online safety of children. And I really like the colors. So here you could see the color blue. This is above average. That means it's a little bit better than average. The yellow, this is average, and the red one is below average. Moldova, Moldova is under the average. So that means Moldova has real and struggled a lot while ensuring the online safety to the children. It's important to teach children holistically about digital citizenship, about online safety. It's not enough just to educate children about, I don't know, cyberbullying, or only about sexual harassment, or only about gaming addiction. You have to teach them holistically. You have to approach, to have a course or to have classes and the discussion about everything when it comes to digital citizenship, because digital citizenship, this is the ability or responsibility. You develop the responsibility of children to behave online the same as we have the civic citizenship. So accountability for their behavior, and in order to know what are the risks and how they should behave in particular moments. So they are all interconnected. This is provocation for us, the teachers, because during our classes, I really like the English classes in this context, because we could talk about many topics, global problems, I don't know, SDG, UN Sustainable Development Goals, any other topics, community problems, I don't know, that happens in the country or worldwide, and using the English language as a mean. So in this situation, digital citizenship might be one of the models that we could discuss with our students during the classes. And it's very important that the subjects from digital citizenship, they are sporadically present in our curriculum, but they are present. That means that we are allowed and we are supported by the curriculum in order to bring this topic into the classroom. So let's start to test your digital citizenship knowledge. Okay. You will be able to do this task by yourself at the moment. I mean, besides the fact that we have the video registration of this webinar, you will have the link for the PowerPoint where all of the links will be inserted and you'll be able to access by yourself. And after that, you will be able just to reflect on the your level of digital citizenship and internet safety. What do you know? And it's very interesting that this test is for the 7th grade. Yeah, so let's start. I'm going just to show you a few questions. Why only a few? Because there are 17 questions. So we are not able just to pass through all of the questions, but at least to show you how it functions. Yes. So there is one question, question 1. If you are confronted by a difficult situation online and you don't know exactly how to handle it, what should you do? Number 1, ask a friend, make a guess, ask an adult you trust, turn off your computer. Okay, let's see. Ask an adult you trust. Okay, submit my answer. Correct, nicely done. You are going to receive immediate feedback on your answers. If you are confronted by a difficult situation online, you better ask an adult you trust. Then, besides that, you receive a feedback, an immediate feedback, and you know which is the correct answer. You receive also, you could visualize your score. So you receive 6 points out of 100. Let's move on. What information is it okay to reveal online? Let's pretend this might be okay. Phone number. Submit my answer. And you could see immediately that the test will show that this is incorrect. Sorry. And it shows which is the right answer. Favorite movie. So after passing all the questions, at the end you will be awarded with a certificate showing your level of knowledge and your level of digital citizenship. So there will be like 90%, 90 points out of 100. Congratulations. So the students will also, you and the students will also be able to do that. Another one is, I really like this kind of tests. So you could tell, good, so this is only for the 7th grade, what about for the others? So if you click on this link, you will be able to find more tests on digital citizen quizzes and digital citizen quiz for the 7th, 4th, and 5th grade. So which is much more simple and adapted to the students' level. For the 7th grade, for, okay, in general, year 10, so this is for the high school. And you could see something, so besides that, you will find out some more resources here on this site, like digital citizenship flashcard that you could use in your classes. So I do invite you to ask the students before starting discussing about digital citizenship, to ask the students to grade or to check their level of digital citizenship and online safety knowledge, and wanted to know exactly what do they know and what they would need to improve. So this might be an initial test. And after that, you discuss, after discussing several lessons about digital citizenship and passing and discussing about elements of digital citizenship that we are going to, to describe and to discuss in a very few moments. So after that, you might repeat this test and you'll see the progress, and you'll compare, ask the students to compare what was before and what was after. Okay. So, yes. Have a look on that. These are the 9 elements of digital citizenship. When you speak about digital citizenship, you should refer not only to, let's say, digital communication, that is very often considered like that, not only to digital literacy, but like when we speak, it's like, what do you know? Are you digitally responsible? Do you have the digital citizenship? People might say, yes, I do know how to use the computer. So this is not enough. This is just one element out of 9. Have a look on that. and think what might mean digital etiquette, digital literacy, digital rights and responsibilities, digital access, digital communication, digital security, digital law, digital commerce, digital health and wellness. Out of these 9 elements of digital citizenship, which is the most complicated for you? Which element you don't know what it might mean? Okay, you just reflect. So let's discover. I'm going to click on this document, and here will be the 9-element digital citizenship table, where you will be able to find out the whole information about it, and we will just pass very fast through it. Digital access, this is number 1 element of digital citizenship. So this is full electronic participation in society, people having equal digital rights. Now during the pandemic, everybody says that children don't have access to education due to the lack of internet. So this is the issue basically of the digital access. They don't have access to, even though they have the rights, they don't have access, real technical access to education. This is the issue of schools, this is the issues of ministry, this is the issue in general of education, yeah? So what are the essential questions? Does everyone in your school have equal opportunities as far as technology use is concerned? Do all students have the opportunity to be involved in a digital society? Yeah. So do they have, and this is great also to analyze it through the perspective of, do boys, yeah, equally, and girls, they have the equal opportunities? Because sometimes you could see that in some situations, some families or some communities or even some cultures will offer more opportunities for boys than for girls when it comes to to internet use. Okay, another one is digital commerce. So what is that? Let me just check if I'm right. Yes, yes, so digital commerce. We'll move to the next. Okay. So what is that? So this is the electronic buying and selling of goods. During this pandemic, so it was proven that a lot of, people, including children, they were trying to purchase some stuff online, and you have to learn how to be effective and informed consumer or customer. You have to understand how and where personal information is going to be used and whether you have to use or not. So you might see children purchasing or preferring purchasing, online games without informing their parents. So this is also an issue, and we need to discuss with students about how they have to be efficient and how to be safe while proceeding and purchasing stuff. The essential question for us as teachers will be asking, are students aware of the opportunities as well as the problem associated with purchasing items using digital technology? Should students be made more aware on how to purchase goods and services through digital formats? Yeah. You will be able to discover more ideas here and the issues and examples, yeah, when you will read it much more individually. So this is just a general understanding. Another element, this is digital communication. So this is the electronic exchange of information by email, cell phones, instant messages, social media. You could see that the students are already aware and they know how to do that. Have you ever asked the students whether they are able to write a letter, an email, yeah, an official email from the beginning till the end, and do they know how to do that? I'm sure they don't, because usually when they write, they use it short prompts and they use it short texts and comments. So our task will be to, first of all, we need to ask ourselves, to help the students to reflect upon the following. Do I use email, cell phones, texting, social networking technology appropriately when communicating with others? What rules, options, and etiquette do students need to be aware of when using digital communication technology? So we need to develop the awareness of when it is appropriate to share, and aware of what we are sharing with whom while being online. Another one is digital etiquette, or other people call it netiquette. It's from net, internet, the electronic standards of conduct or procedures. So this is the policy of behavior, how you should behave, what you should do. And sometimes when you become the member of one particular group online, you are asked to accept something. So this is to read attentively, and you accept that you are not going to cyberbully or harm anyone. The electronic standards of conduct or procedures in digital and physical spaces, understanding appropriate and inappropriate uses of technology, and the behavior, and whether this is verbal or non-verbal even behavior online. The essential questions that you need to ask the students is, or find out about the students, are students aware of others when they use technology? Do students realize how their use of technology affects others? Yeah. So this is the issue of understanding and reflecting upon their risks. And I don't know, when somebody is very rude and violently speaking and addressing and communicating online, so do they realize that this is something bad? And after that, what do they do for that? Do they report that? And so on and so forth. Sorry. Another one is, yes, another element is digital health and wellness. Yes, so this is physical and psychological well-being related to digital technology use. Self-protection, whether this is physically and psychologically, through education and training. So when we speak about digital dependence or digital addiction, this problem comes into this topic, so into digital health and wellness. We speak about technology addiction, technology and good health, computer ergonomics. Helping students, our task is to help students to reflect how can students be physically affected by technology. Are students aware of the physical dangers that can accompany the use of digital technology? How else can someone become injured using technology? So the physical and psychological impact of technology on children's health and well-being. And you know, when it comes to with their sitting in front of the computer now during the pandemic period, so a lot of parents reported that they are afraid and they are concerned about the physical situation and the well-being of their children, because a lot of children, there were many cases reported of depression of children, and not only children but even adults during this period. Okay, this is the reason we need to discuss with students about digital health and wellness. Digital law, this is another element. It relates to the electronic responsibility for actions and deeds, legal rights and restrictions governing technology use. So in case you use somebody's data, so this is forbidden by law, because we have their confidence, well, the law of data safety, and in some people that just break this law could, of course, we need to report these situations. And the problem in case you, or the case that we mentioned that and we saw that this happens, reporting. And in order to know that, first of all, we need to know that this is a problem, that there are some certain laws that protects a particular behavior and freedom of people online. And after that, in case you see that somebody is somebody breaks these laws, we have to know where we could report this situation. So the ethics of technology within the society, laws apply to anyone who works and plays online. In this situation, this is the keywords I really like: technology, copyright laws, because the technology really, and this is what happens in the society, and the children use it frequently, copy pasting the information from their internet and presenting of themselves as information of themselves. And also we have, I don't know, we have many um, copyright violations that unfortunately, I mean, by the law in other countries, you would be reported and immediately you will be announced, it will be called by the police asking that, or a warrant that you are using this copyright, you violated the copyright laws. Um, Things are smoothly and slowly going and changing in Moldova, but we really need, so we have the law, but it is not implemented so much because it is not monitored so much. And our task is just to train the students about the copywriting, and even this is also connected to plagiarism. What do we have in our classroom when it comes to plagiarism, and how do we resolve these issues? Essential question in this situation will be: are students using technology the way it was intended? Are students infringing? This is like violating on others' rights by the way they use technology. Should students using digital technologies be accountable for how they use digital technology? So legal accountability and the responsibility for any word and anything that you are writing and you are using. I mean, you have to be aware that it might harm, and sometimes being aware and sure that you do not break any digital law. And in this situation, it's good to train the students. Okay, there are many activities that I'm going to show and lesson plans that you could find also the digital law. But one of the activity would be just to train the students that in case they use a particular resource, whether this is a picture that they have taken from the internet, they have to make sure that it is not copyright protected. If it's copyright, you better just write the author or the source where you have extracted it. And it's interesting also, it's very important to teach the students to use the quotes. It's allowed to use the quotes, whether they found an essay online or some extras from, I don't know, from a report, from a, I don't know, from a project or a report connected to any particular topic that you ask them to make the research or to bring the information, but it should be quoted and it should be written the appropriate way. So we need to teach the students how to quote, and after that, while writing, they have to analyze this quote. And besides this original quote of an author from the internet, so they have to reflect upon this to express themselves and to interpret this quote and these words using their own thinking and their own words. In such, this is the right one to avoid plagiarism. Another one is digital literacy. So what is the meaning of digital literacy? It's the process of teaching and learning about technology and the use of technology. So it's the ability or the knowledge and the skills to use technology in everyday life, to know how to, I don't know, how to fix the computer, to know how to Skype, to know how to Zoom. So this is digital literacy. Capability of using digital technology and knowledge when and how to use it. So it is all related about to technology education, online education, learning computer hardware, learning software, understanding technology. The question the students have to be asked or help to understand is enough time devoted to learning how to use the technology tools in the classroom? So of course, and this is a question also for you. Do I have the enough knowledge in this situation and expertise and digital skills on using and applying and asking the students also to integrate, to participate in online learning? How can students use digital technologies to take best advantage of the educational opportunities available to them? So sometimes even Facebook or Instagram that they really like, so could help them succeed or learn something new. Of course, it's the matter, and this the challenge for the task for the teacher is to know how they could use the information which is exposed in Facebook with their cognitive and learning goal. Digital rights and responsibilities. So we have the digital law, and now rights and responsibility. This is the matter, it's another element. This is the matter of accountability. Privileged and freedoms extended to all digital technology users and the behavioral expectation that come with them. Understanding technology rules, helping others online. So the question would be, what rights and responsibilities do students have in a digital society? How do we make students more aware of their rights and responsibilities when using digital technology? So this is, again, responsibility and accountability, the freedom you have, yeah, besides the fact that we really like when our students come and they say, I have the rights, and we always remember, we remind them, yes, but besides rights, you have some responsibilities. So this is also consortium between rights and responsibility or accountability that they have to consider while behaving and doing something online. Yes. Yeah. Digital security. There is another one, and I think this is the last one out of 9. The precautions that all technology users might take to guarantee their personal safety and the security of their network while also protecting others. So this is the technology protection. Yeah, that's the reason when you, let's say, when you start a Zoom, now you have, just because there were some safety issues, and now you have the password, you have also the ID, and so on and so forth. So some of protection, technology protection, spyware, data backup, firewall. So all of this, Kaspersky and all of this about technology that people need to know at minimum level in order to protect themselves and to ensure the digital security. The essential questions would be, how do students protect their technology in a digital society? Because they, one more time, they really need to have the minimum of knowledge how they could do that. How can students be taught to protect themselves and their equipment from harm? Yeah, yes. So these are 9 elements that you will be able to analyze by yourself very carefully, yeah, after their presentation. At least you have the general understanding of them. So let's see one more time. Digital etiquette, digital literacy, digital rights and responsibilities, digital access, digital communication, digital security, digital law, digital commerce, digital health and wellness. When we speak about developing digital citizenship competencies, we should consider developing all knowledge and skills connected to all these elements. So what I also found a diagram or a chart that explains a little bit. So when it comes to student learning academic performance, they really need to use digital access. They need to communicate digitally, and they need to know how to use online tools, different online tools for their learning. So this is in particular, it's very useful for them in order to learn something and gain some academic performance. When it comes to student environment and student behavior, they really need to have knowledge about digital security and safety, how they could be safe online, digital etiquette, yeah, the rules and communication and not to harm other people, digital rights and responsibilities. So the freedom they have, what they could do online, and also the accountability, responsibility, how not to harm, to help, to support, and so on and so forth. Student life outside the school environment, they would need knowledge to have knowledge about digital law, digital health and wellness, because during the classroom, you could control the teacher's behavior. What do they they do during their digital behavior, what do they do during the classroom, and the tasks that they receive. However, you could not control teachers' behavior, students' behavior after the classroom and in after school. And in this situation, you say that this is a responsibility of parents. However, the parents are very busy, and in this situation, you better teach and train the students to understand about the means, the issues that may have, and also propose some of the, I don't know, you develop some skills in that. Digital commerce, just avoiding just buying all the things and exposing the and wasting money for that. So it should be all accounted and all correctly performed. Now, there is a small exercise for you, because we described all these 9 elements of digital citizenship. I wanted to reflect, to look at this diagram and this picture, and in particular to this one: primary, middle school, and high school. So let's say primary, this is elementary school. Middle school, this is, let's say, gymnasium, yeah, or secondary school, and the high school, yeah. So this is lyceum that we have. Now, I want you to reflect how you could match these 9 elements to primary level, gymnasium, and to high school. What do I mean? I mean that while starting discussing about digital citizenship, you couldn't start, let's say, to talk, you couldn't talk only about all of these elements during 1 year, and that's enough. So it should be well thought. And in case you have the opportunity and you have some students, one more time, it was even mentioned in the presentation, it should be holistically seen. So, and in some particular classes, in some particular grades, you could not talk, let's say, in the elementary about one topic that should be taught, let's say, because the children are not ready for that psychologically. And let's see, what do you think? What will be the topics that, or the elements, the digital elements, citizenship elements, that you consider we need to start talking at the primary level, then at gymnasium level, and then in high school? So just a few seconds, think about that. Okay, now let's see, what do we have? This is what some researchers recommend. Of course, it could be disputable. However, this is one sample. Yeah, it's a recommendation. You could use it or not. But basically, I told some of the researchers, so they say this is good to start talking in the elementary level about digital etiquette, digital literacy, and digital rights and responsibilities. In the middle school, in the gymnasium, of course, you are going to talk about some of the elements, just to, you continue. Let's imagine that you continue talking with the same students. You will start talking about digital access, digital communication, and digital security. And the most complicated issues already, that will be for high school: digital law, digital commerce, and digital health and wellness. Good. This is just one model that you could use while thinking how you could start on, from which you could start. So basically, the idea is, sorry, the idea is that you'll need to start from the very simple to something much more complicated. Yes. So let's move on. Good. We talked so much about the way you have to do, how you could do that. But, you know, as teachers, we really need some samples of the lesson, how you could teach digital citizenship. I prepared a set of lessons. Sorry, a set of lessons that will help you just to, I mean, you'll find out many interesting resources and examples of the activities, but I would like to share just one now at the very beginning, to share one of the lesson plan, which is called Digital Citizenship. It was developed by Core Sense. Yes. So let's see. It is called the Digital Citizenship, and you see different activities. Yeah. Okay. So lesson time is 30 minutes. So this is a basic lesson which includes activity only. Of course, you will have introductory, wrap-up, suggestion, and you could also add some other activities. Let's see, just for general understanding. Their lesson objectives: the students will compare and contrast their responsibilities to the online or offline communities, understand what type of information can put them at risk for identify thefts and other scams, reflect on the characteristic that makes someone an upstanding citizen, digital citizen, of course, and devise resolutions to digital dilemmas. You know, this is, of course, an interesting one. The students will have a digital dilemma and they have to solve, and in particular will relate to moral dilemmas as well. They will have to find a solution, and this way they will develop their moral attitude as well. So the materials, what do you really need? Papercraft superheroes. If I click on that, you're going to see it. So yes, okay. So superheroes, click on that and you could find out, I mean, this made of paper craft. You just need to print it out and after that to cut for the students. Okay, yes. Another one is pen, pencil, scissors, super digital citizen assessment for each student. If I click on that, you're going to see just the material. So these will be the handouts each student will need to receive, and that will be, of course, connected to the exercise that they are going to do. So for example, cross out the information that you should not share online. Use the words that are left over as the key to what you should find in the word search. So your credit card information, and so on and so forth. Then you will have to write a paragraph in the area below telling what about what you will do when you are on the internet to make sure that you practice kind and respectful behavior. So these are only 2 exercises. These will be handouts each student will receive. Okay, sorry. Yes. Okay, so you are going to prepare these materials in advance and you will offer to students these materials. You will also need for the teachers, you will need to have the lesson video. Yeah, and also a good selection of male and female papercraft superhero sheet for the whole class. If you click on that, you will be you will be you will be guided and again to this papercraft superheroes link that we've seen. Let's see what kind of lesson video. Yes. So here is just a short description of what is the digital citizenship, and this is just a short understanding for you as a teacher, and also you could use it in the classroom. Okay. Okay, another one is how you could start. Of course, you prepare it already, and then how you could start. So I don't know, you could connect. Of course, you could adapt this lesson. You could connect to the previous topics, if we're talking about, because this is mostly about responsibility. You could connect to what you've learned during the previous lesson about digital access and so on and so forth. Then vocabulary, and in particular, how do we pronounce digital citizen? Say it with me: digital citizen. Yeah, someone who acts safely, responsibly online. So then you discuss about personal versus private online. Ask what type of information, and yeah, so you could see as a teacher, this is the tape script of your words and what you could do during this class. Then here is an example of public versus private information. You could use it and show to students. Yes, then there is also some additional, if you have some tips, if you have access to a computer, feel free to navigate to a site that might require this information or type of information, such as Gmail or Facebook. Yeah, so try to be connected to internet, and this is very important, that we should show to students that we are not afraid of internet, and you are handling the internet, and you are using on the for the purpose of I don't know, for professional life and for social life as well. Yeah, then you have activities like a papercraft superhero. So, and you could ask the students, I mean, you give them time to make their superheroes, and then they will be talking about the qualities and the sort of feelings. So uh, people will superheroes might feel and the powers to, so the idea is that you need to connect the idea of superhero with the person that is responsible to change and to bring change into the world, and in this situation like being brave and not to break the rules and being respectful to others online. Yeah, safe, responsible, respectful. And so you could find a detailed information about all the stages, yeah, and the assessment as well. If you click on digital assessment, there is the handout which we're talking about, we discuss. And so this, and at the end of the lesson, so the students will be able just to, using the information you've discussed, to make this, to find this word puzzle or word or crossword. And after that, to write this paragraph to reflect upon what they learned. So this is just a general or an example of the lesson plan. In addition to this lesson plan, I found a great collection. Of course, and I do encourage you to use QR codes, decipher or read in order to find out the lesson plan, or you could click on this QR code and you'll see a great collection of lesson plans. There are 10 lesson plans. If you click that I prepared, because I found out many, I was looking for many resources, and that you as a teacher, you could use in your everyday life, or what I mean is in your teacher life. And of course, this is just the materials, and you could use it as a reference. Feel free to adapt it at your own needs and your students' needs in order to make it more interactive and much more appropriate for your student group. So for example, lesson 1. You will have here the description of the material of the lesson with all the steps, number 1, number 2, number 3, what you need to do, and also the handouts, yeah? So the handouts that the students will have to use in order to, I don't know, to talk about a particular class topic on digital citizenship. And here is also the video link. So in case you are going to work on the videos, and you have the video here included. I found the video link. So for example, you click on that, and you will be using this video in your classroom, and for the lesson that you are going to teach. Yes.
It's so much easier to talk to people on Facebook. I mean, you don't have to see them face to face. You have the guts to do stuff on the computer that you don't have the guts to do in person sometimes. With my cell phone, I text a lot, probably over 400 a day. My parents want to hear what I'm talking about so much, and they just know.
Yes, and of course, in addition to what you would find in the lesson plan description, there you could find also some video discussion guide, and you could download these guides, so some of the other resources. So I do encourage you to feel free to explore all these lessons. They are 10. Of course, these are the lesson plans that develop different elements of digital citizenship. Adapt them, I don't know, develop them, inspire from that. And in case you could find something else, you could just use it in order to make it your classes much more interesting on digital citizenship. So this is what I would like, this is the end, and this is what I would like to, with what I would like to finish up our presentation. I really want to thank you for the fact that you participated at this webinar. I really hope that you will be able to find, we're able to find some useful information for you, at least. So this is a teaser. I will all the time say that the workshops, these are the teasers, the way, or this is the starting point for you to understand the problem, to identify some of the resources and some of the solutions for you, and to put some question mark for you, and also to set up some to-do list for you as a teacher in order to address this issue. So the most important that you have the resources, you have now the better understanding about digital citizenship, you know about these 9 elements which are very important to address and to combine and to consider when you develop the classes and you develop the lessons for the students, for making the students responsible and aware and digital literate, and also helping them to be safe online. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best in using all the resources that we were talking about. Thank you.